Good evening and welcome back to the Mayor's Update.
Yes, lots to update this week.
Oh my
Incredible
goodness.
big news for the area, and
Mhm.
we'll talk about that probably first. And I've got probably 10 things from last night's council meeting too.
Yeah.
Not a long meeting, but certainly with some
Mhm.
impactful stuff in it. So we're going to talk all about that. And then we should recap how well
The Groundhog
Day went. Yes,
Mhm.
it was predictable.
Yep.
So that's all I got. We had a good time out with Sally,
Yeah.
St. Thomas Sally, the groundhog. Let's do that one first.
Okay.
We met
Love
out there before dawn last on Groundhog Day on February 2nd, and had a good talk with our new groundhog. It was decided that morning, and Steve Peters came up with the new name, that Sally, St. Thomas Sally, because we checked and we can't find another female groundhog
Right.
that
Although
does predictions.
I've heard that they have the male name, but sometimes they use female groundhogs. Is that right?
Oh, could easily be.
Because
Yeah,
I mentioned that to someone, they're like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
and I was
Well,
like, "I didn't actually,"
yeah.
but thank you for
Well, I
telling
mean,
me that.
we know that of one place it's at least used a dead groundhog once. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
same prediction, no
And during
problem.
COVID, there were
Shouter.
issues.
Yes. I did find Lucy the lobster somewhere
Lucy
on
the
the East
lobster.
Coast, and she does groundhog type duties for them. So there's a Lucy. Now we have St. Thomas Sally. We're
St.
really
Thomas Sally.
pleased. Planning
Mhm.
much larger events next February 2nd, but it was a fun day to be out there with the team that was out there, Grayden and Steve Peters and Jim Herbert and Rose and
Rose's friend Faye.
Faye. I was going to say, I knew it was Faye
Yeah.
because then they came for breakfast at Wendy's afterwards while I sat there and worked the whole time.
I know. I had to go right to work right after that too. Otherwise, I would have joined.
Well, you came from work.
Yeah, and then
did about 5 minutes of filming the groundhog event, but thank you for doing so.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
I guess the big news today is Sandra Datersbeer, our city manager, has accepted the city manager CAO's job in the city of London.
Mhm.
This is fantastic news for Sandra. That's a great step up and a great needed spot. The city of London needs the type of strength Sandra can bring to it. It will also bring a great deal more friendship, cooperation, and relationship building between the City of London and the City of St. Thomas. So to have a great friend like Sandra over there, working with Mayor Morgan in London is pretty popular. Mayor Morgan owes me now.
I'd say so.
I think that's
Sandra's
probably
pretty
the case.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and we're pretty pleased with Sandra moving forward, pleased with the work she's done here for us, exceptionally pleased during a time of absolute craziness here in St. Thomas with the Volkswagen plant and the housing pieces we've been working on. But that meant that she also spent a lot of time developing our staff, our department heads, to a level that they weren't before and they are now. And I give her credit for that. That's going to make this transition easier because we have very good strength in every department in the city of St. Thomas. I will miss her dearly, but she's only a little ways away. And as I said, her phone's still in mine. So I can certainly, she's here with us really to the end of April almost anyway. And we hope to get a lot more things done. And perhaps we've started the hiring process for her replacement as of today. And we hope to have some overlap time with her and the new person like we did with when Wendell was leaving and Wendell got to overlap with Sandra. So, love to tell you I'm just super pleased with how good it is for Sandra and for the area. I'm a little bit depressed today as the mayor of St. Thomas when a very good person like Sandra is no longer going to be on your team. We shared a brain. We honestly shared phrases. She's that good as a city manager. So I will miss her dearly, but it'll be a little while before I get to miss her.
Well, it's hard too because Wendell did such a good job, and then it was like, how are you going to replace Wendell? And then Sandra came in. It was just spectacular.
Right. It was such a good fit.
All the negotiations with the police and the fire department as well.
Yep. All of Volkswagen, because we weren't finished yet. That was really not even a year ago now. So, and there's been so much going on still on the contracts for PowerCo and the province and what we're doing in the construction zone. And as you know, how much is still moving on, and the city of St. Thomas is responsible for it. So
and
keep
like
going.
We talked about before, it's all about planning for the future and making sure that the planning is done really, really well so that everybody benefits, because we've all seen what can happen when it's not done
Well,
well.
yeah, and sometimes we've seen what's happened when there was no plan.
Yeah.
It just kind of flowed. And as it stands now, using the strategic plan that we used, and she helped us complete almost, and then now going into our next session of strategic plan with those action plan items coming out now within the next month or two, she'll play a role in setting us up for the next decade. For what we're looking for with PowerCo here, and some changes we've seen in growth, some acceleration we've seen in growth. So having a good plan to follow, or to at least say, does this fit our plan? Is this what we should be working on today?
Yep.
Then perfect. I will love my time that I've spent with her dearly, and I will miss her dearly also.
And I mean, there's always opportunity for her to come back too.
Oh, this was her second time back this time,
Yeah.
but yeah. Well, let's let her help London. That's also a good thing for Southern Ontario. And with the work and growth happening in Southern Ontario, the fact that Sandra's moving on to a community that can use her help, looking forward to be able to watch it.
Absolutely. And especially with the housing and homelessness that they're dealing with as well. You know, she's done amazing things while she's been here in that department as well.
And she knows the effort, how much effort it takes. It's easy to say, I want to solve this, but the effort it takes and the timeline to solve some of that homelessness issue, she understands clearly now, and that will help the City of London in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot from council as well.
Oh, a lot of things last night. Real quick, going to run through some of them. Please ask us questions if you've got any questions.
Brett Longfield's asking,
what a great line. Way to go, Brett.
What will Sandra be offering Saturdays at the Horton Farmers Market alongside Wacky Wendell? Well,
that's good. She made some excellent Christmas desserts this year for us, and we didn't share them with anybody, but that maybe she's got a calling at the Horton Market for baked goods like Wendell did. There's nothing like a Wacky Wendell butter tart right now of varying flavors. I hear there's a cranberry something this last Saturday. I didn't get to the market. I got to the cottage.
Jess was there. I had to work, so yeah, I'm sure she checked.
Okay, here's all the stuff from council meeting. Please get your questions in here so that we can get to them right after. We made a presentation to David Warden. David Warden had served the end of his time at the Police Services Board. That sounded bad, didn't it? 19 years of being a council member on the Police Services Board, in a Police Service Board position in another community, and then after his time as council here serving on the Police Services Board. We recognized him for his work for the city. A deputation was done last night on opioid use by Dr. Mai from the Community Care Health Center. Quite interesting. He's got a treatment for opioid use that makes people, I guess the best way I can mimic what he said last night is more functional. And it's a 30-day injection, so it's not like another drug that we could be used in any other way. It really aids the people. I'm getting some more research, and we'll talk some more about that, and we're looking to help him with some of his research. We have Lake Margaret ice fishing we talked about last night. We had a report 2 years ago, I think, where we said, okay, fishing on Lake Margaret is fine, but could you do it from the west end of the lake only, please? Not behind the houses, not from the Jim Waite Park, and not from the other side. So we're trying to keep it near the west end. But the question was asked by a council member a couple of months ago, well, what does that do for ice fishing if somebody is ice fishing on the lake? I still feel there's a very big danger in ice fishing on the lake, but we do allow fishing, except between March 31st and June 1st, the bass season spawning time. So it's all catch and release any time of the year. So we'd like you to keep your ice fishing to the west end. And we're going to try and watch for the safety piece. But all of our fire people, we learned last night, are trained on ice safety and ice rescue. That's good. We hope we never use them for that at all. But we have no way of really checking the lake every day for its safety. We have no expert in that field. So please, the ice is thin when it's warm out. The ice is thicker when it's really cold out. Please use good common sense to follow ice fishing rules. We had a report on the wastewater master plan update. We're building, of course, a new wastewater plant to help service the future of St. Thomas. We're at about 65% capacity in the Sunset plant, with the addition of PowerCo as it comes on, and some of the other new buildings that we have going on in town. That'll get us to about 75. Whenever you get to 85, you've got to start this process. So being forward thinking, we've started the process a couple years early. It's about a 5-year process to finish wastewater treatment, the placement of the new facility, the size of the new facility, and how it will work.
Have they talked about where it's going yet?
Well, we know it's going in the north part of St. Thomas, or where Central Elgin meets St. Thomas, but that choice is picked more by the environmental assessment that's going on the plant. So there are certain correct places a wastewater plant can be, and there's places it can't be. So that's still under that type of investigation. How about the purchase of a really large Gorman-Rupp pump, right, to run water in our community into the industrial park, and using a local supplier and a pretty big contract for it.
And a company that gives back to the community as well.
Gorman-Rupp's been fantastic and been here for a while, and we're happy to, when we can, buy parts that are needed. So this is almost all that will be needed for that water pumping station. I asked last night, well, we're buying this big pump, and it comes with certain things. Well, the only thing not there is the bricks and mortar that go around it in a pumping station. So way to go, Gorman-Rupp. We talked about Leela Street, and if you know where Leela Street is, about doing a road closure there. There are no houses on Leela Street, and the street is kind of starting to buckle, but we're going to close it as a through traffic street, make it part of our trail network. Anyway, so that's happening. The award for the Kane Street reconstruction, that's Kane Street, Curtis Street, and Scott Street, came in about $1 million less than budgeted.
Wow.
On the first tender. This is why we finish our budgets early, right? So that we can get out to the street. 5 different contractors or 6 different contractors bid on it. The lowest bid was about $1 million less than we thought it would be. What does that get us? Well, when we finish this project early and we've got the contingency met, that can go back into other streets in our community late summer, early fall for more complete roads.
And what's $1 million in terms of your budget?